The three deadly prophecies of Nostradamus for 2025. Are we too late? Predictions for 2025. A shadow stretches over the path ahead, and suddenly, 2025 doesn't feel like a year we're approaching it, feels like a destination already chosen, written in riddles centuries ago by a man whose words refuse to be forgotten. Buried within Nostradamus's cryptic verses are three grim prophecies each, echoing louder in today's headlines, from global unrest to environmental tipping points, and a silence that feels more like suspense than peace. Could we be standing inside the very future he warned us about? Could these signs be the present disguised as prophecy? But before we go further, know this. Once you glimpse what lies beneath the surface, your view of the world may never be the same. If you're ready to see with new eyes, like this video, share it with someone searching for answers, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. And if you feel inspired to support our mission of mindful truth-seeking, consider becoming a member. Now, take a breath, because what comes next might shake more than just your beliefs. Number 1. Who was Nostradamus? Nostradamus, born Michel de Nostradame in 1503, was more than just a physician, and astrologer. He became one of history's most enduring prophetic figures. In 1555, he published Les Prophéties, a collection of over 900 quatrains, four-line poems layered with symbolism, astrological insight, and references to historical events and biblical allegory. Written in a deliberately obscure style, these verses have sparked centuries of fascination and debate. While many have brushed them off as vague or overly poetic, others argue that their eerie alignment with events such as the rise of Napoleon, the reign of Hitler, and the tragedy of September 11th is too precise to be coincidence. Critics, of course, are quick to remind us of the human tendency to interpret past writings through the lens of present events, often shaping vague texts to fit specific moments in history. However, what separates the year 2025 from past debates is that some quatrains considered too obscure or irrelevant are now being re-examined and appear to align startlingly well with current global tensions, technological shifts, and environmental threats. This reawakens age-old questions. Were these merely poetic speculations, or did Nostradamus truly tap into something deeper about the cycles of human history? In today's fast-paced world, where change happens in a blink and uncertainty often overshadows stability, the renewed interest in Nostradamus isn't just about prophecy, it's about understanding. We are all, in some way, searching for meaning amid chaos, and these ancient words, regardless of their origin, challenge us to reflect on our trajectory as a society. Whether or not you believe Nostradamus foresaw our times, his work invites us to pause and ask, are we moving mindfully toward the future, or blindly repeating the mistakes of the past? It reminds us that history often whispers its lessons before it shouts them. Number 2. The three prophecies for 2025. Prophecy number 1. Fire from the sky and earthquake. Prophecy number 1 from the writings of Nostradamus speaks of something both awe-inspiring and terrifying: great fire falling from the sky for 3 nights, followed by an earthquake. These chilling words are found in Century 1, Quatrain 46. Very near Ash, Lecter, and Mirand, a great fire will fall from the sky for 3 nights. The cause will appear both stupefying and marvelous. Shortly afterward, there will be an earthquake. While some have dismissed this as a reference to ancient meteor events, others are taking it much more seriously today. You might be wondering, could this be a warning meant for our generation? In recent years, we've seen a growing number of fireball sightings across the world, particularly near the Pacific Rim and throughout Europe. At the same time, seismic activity in those very regions is on the rise. Is it a coincidence or a cosmic connection waiting to unfold? Here's where things get even more unsettling. The European Space Agency has, without fanfare, issued quiet alerts regarding near-Earth object space rocks and celestial bodies forecasted to pass dangerously close to our planet by the end of 2025. While this news hasn't made many headlines, for those paying attention, it raises an urgent question. Are we so fixated on what might come from above that we've forgotten to notice what's shifting beneath our feet? Or perhaps, are both the sky and the earth trying to speak to us at once, reminding us of how small, yet deeply connected, we are to the forces of nature? Nostradamus uses the word marvelous to describe the cause of the fire from the sky. This makes us pause. Could it mean that this event, while destructive, also carries a lesson or transformation? In ancient traditions, fire has symbolized purification and rebirth, and earthquakes, while devastating, often mark powerful shifts in the foundation of things. Could this prophecy be nudging us not just to prepare for physical events, but to awaken spiritually? What are we being called to notice, change, or let go of in our own lives before the ground shakes and the skies burn? And here's a question worth pondering deeply. If the world were to change tomorrow, whether by cosmic fire or trembling earth, how would you want to live today? Would you spend more time with loved ones, speak more kindly, forgive more freely, or finally listen to the voice within that's been calling you towards something greater? The message here isn't one of doom, it's one of awareness. Awareness that we are living in times of great shifts, and whether or not Nostradamus's words come to pass in a literal sense, they serve as powerful metaphors for our own internal landscapes. As the world around us becomes more uncertain, the real preparation begins within. Let us not wait for a fire in the sky or the shaking of the earth to remind us of what truly matters. Let us instead choose today to walk with more intention, to care more deeply, and to build a foundation of inner peace that no external quake can destroy. So the lesson here is this: whether prophecy or poetry, the real value lies in how it moves us to reflect, to stay mindful, and to align our actions with wisdom and compassion. We cannot stop the fire from the sky or the shaking of the ground, but we can light the fire of awareness within and stand firm in kindness, no matter how the world may tremble. What will you choose to awaken to today? Prophecy number 2, a burning sky and cyber war. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing it burning not with fire as we once feared, but with something more silent, more invisible, and perhaps even more dangerous. That's the essence of Nostradamus's second chilling prophecy, taken from Century 6, Quatrain 97, which reads, "At 45 degrees the sky will burn, fire to approach the great new city. In an instant a great scattered flame will leap up, when one will want to take proof of the Normans." Now, at first glance, this might sound like an old cryptic poem lost in time. But when you sit with these words and look around at our modern world in 2025, their meaning starts to feel a lot more real, maybe even disturbingly familiar. Many have connected this quatrain to the September 11th attacks in New York City, a moment in history that certainly felt like a sky on fire. Yet, a growing number of voices today believe there's more to this prophecy, something unfolding right now in ways we're only beginning to grasp. Could the great new city mean more than just New York? Could it be a symbol for the entire digital world we've built to a modern civilization, led by the West and powered by technology? When we think of fire today, it's not always flames. Sometimes it's a cyber attack that shuts down a hospital, or a wave of AI-generated misinformation that divides communities, or a blackout in a major city caused not by weather, but by someone sitting at a computer halfway across the world. What if the scattered flame Nostradamus spoke of is this very type of attack, unpredictable, devastating, and spreading like wildfire through the networks that run our lives. A recently declassified report from early 2025 reveals something deeply troubling. At least a dozen critical infrastructures around the world, from power grids and water systems to airline control have been silently compromised. Malware, planted by unknown hands, waits patiently like dry wood before a spark. Suddenly, the idea of a burning sky doesn't seem so far-fetched. This is a new kind of warfare without missiles, without bloodshed, yet still capable of bringing nations to their knees. And then there's that curious phrase, proof of the Normans. While some think it points to the people of Normandy, others interpret it more broadly as a metaphor for Western powers. Could this be a test of their resilience, their values, their unity? And if they fail that test, what does it mean for their place in the world? Are we witnessing the slow collapse of influence, not through battlefields, but through backdoors in our software, through manipulation of our minds, through the quiet erosion of trust? Let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, what does sky burning mean to you today? Is it the literal fear of missile strikes, or the growing dread that our digital skies, our online worlds, might suddenly collapse under invisible flames? Could it be a warning that we've become too reliant on fragile systems without fully understanding the risks? Or perhaps Nostradamus was urging us to look deeper beyond the surface, beyond what's obvious. If the tools we've created for progress become the weapons of our downfall, then maybe the prophecy isn't just a prediction, but a call to awareness. How do we protect what matters most in a world where the next war might be fought, not with tanks, but with code? What lessons are we ignoring, and what truths are we still unwilling to face? Think about it, and as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What does this prophecy stir within you? What kind of fire do you think is approaching? If you've watched this far, you're already on the path to uncovering the truth behind Nostradamus's chilling prophecies for 2025. Comment below with "Ready for 2025" to show you're prepared to face whatever the future may hold. Don't go anywhere, there's still more to reveal that could change how you see the coming year. Stay until the end to discover what may lie ahead and what we can do before it's too late. Prophecy number 3. Planetary alignment and global unrest. Prophecy number 3 from Nostradamus, describing planetary alignment and global unrest, draws our attention to a sobering warning, one that becomes increasingly relevant as we observe the world around us in 2025. In Century 4, Quatrain 67, Nostradamus writes, "The year that Saturn and Mars are equal fiery, the air very dry, long meteor from hidden fires, a great place burns with heat, little rain, warm wind, wars, incursions." This poetic verse, when aligned with modern astronomical knowledge, corresponds with a rare celestial event set to take place toward the end of 2025. Mars and Saturn, two planets often associated with aggression and karmic justice, will both appear in fiery zodiac signs, Aries and Leo. Historically, such alignments have been interpreted as harbingers of conflict, societal upheaval, and intense cosmic energy that can ignite unrest. As we look around, we see eerie parallels. Climate patterns are becoming more erratic, with unprecedented droughts parching South America, flames consuming the Arctic tundra, and a general sense of ecological imbalance unsettling the global mood. It is not just the environment that mirrors these ancient words. Human society, too, seems to be unraveling. Scarcity of resources, water, food, livable land has begun to fuel regional tensions. In areas where nature no longer provides stability, desperation takes its place, often leading to violence. What Nostradamus described as little rain, warm wind, could well be today's record-breaking heat waves and collapsing agricultural systems. These are not distant possibilities, they are headlines we scroll past every day. And when he mentions wars, incursions, he may be pointing to the tensions simmering among nations, alliances weakening, and new powers rising to challenge the established order. NATO's internal divisions and the consolidation of alternative global coalitions hint at a shifter, dangerous dance of distrust where diplomacy is replaced by confrontation. The prophecy's phrase, "a great place burns with heat," might not signify just a physical city ablaze, but a metaphor for Earth itself, struggling under the weight of both human conflict and natural catastrophe. In reflecting on this, it is important not to give in to fear, but to use these warnings as a mirror. Whether or not Nostradamus foresaw our exact future, his writings ask us to examine our present. Our actions, both personal and collective, ripple outward. In a world heated not just by the sun, but by anger, greed, and division, how we treat the planet and each other matters more than ever. This prophecy, then, is not a fixed fate, but a chance to choose differently. Rather than waiting for a collapse, we can cultivate peace within our homes, demand responsibility from our leaders, and learn to live in greater harmony with nature. The future is not just written in the stars, it is shaped by every choice we make today. So while the skies may burn and the winds may warm, let us remain cool in spirit, guided by compassion, and steady in our efforts to be the change that turns prophecy into awakening rather than apocalypse. How to live a happy and peaceful life, even when the world is unstable. In a world growing more chaotic by the day with headlines of war, natural disasters, and silent mental crises flooding our feeds, many of us have begun to ask, how can we live happily and peacefully when everything around us feels so unstable? The answer doesn't lie in changing the world outside, begins with returning to the world within. True happiness isn't found when life is perfect. It's found in the ability to remain calm and centered, even when life is far from easy. Think of it like a leaf floating on a river. The leaf can't control the current, but it can surrender and stay afloat. The same is true for us. So today, let's take this journey inward together and explore how we can live in peace, even when the world seems to be falling apart. Number 1. Come back to the present moment. In times when the world feels like it's spinning out of control, when news headlines stir anxiety and the future seems uncertainer, minds tend to drift into places that steal our peace. We find ourselves trapped in memories of what went wrong or paralyzed by fears of what might come. Yet, in the heart of Buddhist wisdom lies a gentle but powerful invitation to return to the present moment. The Buddha said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." This isn't just poetic advice, it's a way of living that can bring real, grounded peace. Think about how often we let moments slip by unnoticed while our minds are busy elsewhere. We eat while scrolling on our phones, walk while worrying, or talk to someone while half thinking about our to-do list. In doing so, we miss life as it unfolds. But if we can gently guide our attention back to the now, truly feel the texture of the dish as we wash it, savor the warmth of food as we eat, or hear the tone in someone's voice as they speak, we begin to build a kind of inner shelter, a place untouched by the chaos around us. This practice doesn't require special tools or a quiet mountain retreat. It's something you can do in the middle of a traffic jam or during a stressful day at work. When you feel overwhelmed, try this. Pause for just one breath. Feel the inhale. Feel the exhale. That's all. In that moment, you're no longer in the stories of the past or the what-ifs of the future. You're here, alive, and safe in this breath. Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. This kind of presence doesn't deny the suffering or uncertainty in the world, but it allows us to touch peace within it. Just as a tree remains rooted even when the wind blows hard, we too can find our center in the present. And when practiced over time, presence becomes more than just a tool for calm. It becomes a way of relating to life with gentleness, clarity, and strength. It teaches us that while we can't control the outer world, we can learn to hold our inner world with care. In our modern lives, full of distractions and demands, being fully present is a radical act of kindness to ourselves and to those around us. So let's remember the ancient wisdom echoed by many traditions, from the Buddha to modern mindfulness teachers. Peace is every step. And every step taken in awareness brings us closer to a life that feels steady, even when the world does not. Number 2. Choose compassion even when others are angry. When the world feels shaky, full of anger, fear, and conflict, it's easy to get swept up in the storm and respond with the same energy. But you have a choice. Number 2. Choose compassion even when others are angry. This isn't just a soft idea, it's a powerful practice. You see, when people are afraid, they often act out of pain. They defend, attack, and separate themselves from others. But just like a wildfire cannot be stopped by more flames, the cycle of hate cannot be broken by more hate. There's a well-known teaching that says, "Only compassion cools the flames." It's simple, but deeply true, and that's where your power lies. You don't have to start big, you don't need to save the world in one day. Start small. Offer someone a kind word when you know they're having a hard time. Smile gently, even when you feel like frowning. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to stay silent instead of saying something that would cause harm. These little acts, they might seem insignificant, but in the heart of a chaotic world, they are seeds of peace. They are moments of warmth. And over time, those seeds grow. There's a beautiful story from the life of the Buddha that speaks to this. One day, the Buddha was walking through a village when a man came up to him and began yelling insults. The Buddha remained calm and didn't respond. After a while, the man grew tired and asked, "Why do you remain silent? Don't you have anything to say?" The Buddha replied gently, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man was confused. The Buddha smiled and said, "In the same way, if you offer me anger and I do not accept it, who is angry, you or me?" This story reminds us, we have the power to choose what we carry. When someone hands you anger, you don't have to take it. You can meet it with compassion instead. So ask yourself this: what happens inside you when you choose kindness, especially when it's hard? Can you feel the difference in your own body, your own heart, when you pause and choose not to react with more pain? This choice doesn't mean you agree with harmful actions, but it means you don't let them take your peace away. It's an act of strength, not weakness. Choosing compassion is like putting water on a fire, not just to protect others, but to save your own inner peace. And once you've tasted that peace, even for a moment, you begin to see how precious it is, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. Because peace spreads. When you act with compassion, you remind others that it's possible to respond with love, even in a world full of anger. The lesson here is clear and deeply personal. Peace begins with you. In a world that feels unstable, your choice to be kind, to be understanding, and to stay gentle even when it's hard, that is a radical act of healing. You are not powerless. You are a creator of peace. Each small act of compassion is like lighting a candle in the dark. It matters more than you know. If this message has touched something in you, you're not alone. Many of us are walking this same path. Comment "Stillness in Chaos" to join others who are choosing peace over panic. Keep watching. Some of the most meaningful reflections are still to come. Number 3. Practice simplicity, live deeply, not busily. Let me ask you something. In the rush of your daily life, do you ever pause to ask yourself, what truly brings me peace? We live in a world that moves faster than our hearts can sometimes handle. We're constantly being told to achieve more, earn more, buy more. The world around us often makes us feel like we're behind if we're not always doing something. But I invite you to slow down with me for a moment and ask a deeper question. What if happiness isn't found in doing more, but in needing less? You see, as life becomes more modern, it also becomes more complicated. And in that complexity, we begin to confuse success with how busy we are or how many things we own. Yet, in reality, the more we accumulate, whether it's stuff, titles, or tasks, the more we can begin to feel a quiet emptiness. It's like trying to quench a deep thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, a gentle voice of wisdom in a noisy world, once said, "The less you need, the lighter you become." And with gratitude, you realize your life is already full. These words are like a gentle breeze that clears the fog in our minds. Can you imagine what it would feel like to walk through life without the heavy burden of always needing more? Think about it. How would your days change if you truly believed that what you already have is enough? Not in a way that dismisses your dreams or growth, but in a way that honors the beauty of what's already here. Maybe it's the warmth of a meal when you're hungry, the roof that shelters you from rain, or the quiet company of someone who cares about you. These aren't small things, they are everything. Practicing simplicity doesn't mean giving everything up. It means coming back to what's essential and choosing depth over distraction. It means asking, do I really need this? Before buying, reacting, or committing. It's about creating space not just in your home, but in your mind and heart for what truly matters. And when you live simply, something amazing happens. You start to see more clearly. You begin to appreciate what you once overlooked. You feel less rushed and more rooted. You stop surviving and start living. Isn't that the kind of peace we're all looking for? So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the noise of the world, take a breath. Come back to your center. Ask yourself, what can I let go of today that's not serving my peace? The journey to happiness isn't about finding more, it's about needing less and seeing more. And when you live this way, even in a world that feels unstable, you carry a calm inside you that no storm can shake. What if your deepest happiness isn't out there somewhere, but quietly waiting for you to notice it right where you are? Number 4. Be still like a mountain. In a world where uncertainty seems to be the only constant, whether it's economic shifts, political unrest, or personal challenges, it's easy to feel like we're being tossed around by waves of emotion. One bad headline, a harsh comment from a colleague, or a moment of failure can spiral into anxiety, frustration, or sadness. But we must remember, we are not our emotions. Emotions rise and fall like the tides, but our true self, the quiet, aware presence within remains steady beneath the surface. This is where the wisdom of being still like a mountain begins to make sense. A mountain doesn't react when the wind howls or the storms pass through. It simply remains, unmoved and grounded. Similarly, we can learn to be aware of our emotional responses without allowing them to sweep us away. This isn't about ignoring feelings or pretending everything's fine when it's not, rather. It's about developing the strength to watch the emotion, acknowledge it, and let it pass through without becoming entangled in it. One way to cultivate this inner stillness is through the simple yet powerful practice of pausing. Taking just 5 minutes to sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe mindfully can reconnect you with your inner anchor. This pause doesn't require a special room or perfect conditions. You can do it at your desk, in your car before heading home, or even while waiting in line. Each breath becomes a thread that pulls you back into the present moment, where peace lives not in some future without problems, but right here, in your ability to meet this moment with awareness. When we pause and breathe with intention, we're no longer reacting blindly, we're choosing how to respond. And this small gap between stimulus and response is where peace, clarity, and freedom are born. Now, more than ever, this practice is essential. Our modern lives are filled with noise, constant notifications, urgent deadlines, and endless comparisons on social media. This can lead to a deep inner restlessness, as if we're always chasing something or running from something else. But we don't have to live that way. True peace isn't about escaping the noise, but learning how to remain centered in the middle of it. It's not about waiting for the world to calm down. It's about finding stillness within ourselves, no matter what the world is doing. This kind of peace isn't fragile. It doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It's the kind of peace that stays with you even when life gets tough. So the next time you feel anger rise or sadness start to pull you under, gently remind yourself, I am not this emotion. I can observe it, let it be, and return to stillness. This isn't always easy, especially when emotions feel overwhelming, but with patience and practice, it becomes a way of life. In doing so, you become a source of calm, not just for yourself, but for others too. Like a mountain that offers shade and shelter in the storm, your presence becomes a refuge. This is the quiet strength that leads to a truly peaceful and happy life, no matter how unstable the world around you may seem. Number 5. Surround yourself with mindful community. In times when the world feels unstable and chaotic, when the news brings more worry than comfort and the future feels unclear, it's easy to feel like we're walking alone through a storm. But the truth is, you don't have to face it all by yourself. One of the most powerful ways to find peace and stay grounded is by surrounding yourself with a mindful community, a group of people who reflect back to you the calm, compassion, and wisdom that might be hard to see on your own. Think about it. When everything outside feels like it's spinning, isn't it comforting to have someone next to you who can remind you to breathe, to come back to the present, to trust in something deeper than the chaos? Whether it's a meditation circle, a few close friends who truly listen, or an online space like the Journey of Wisdom that speaks to your heart, these connections become lifelines. They help you remember who you are when the noise of the world tries to drown out your inner voice. And more than just emotional support, a mindful community keeps us accountable, no in a harsh way, but in a loving, gentle way. When you're surrounded by people who value inner peace, kindness, and clarity, it becomes easier to stay on the path, even when it's steep or unclear. Have you ever noticed how your own energy shifts depending on the people around you? The right community doesn't just help you feel better, they inspire you to be better. They reflect back your highest self. So, who in your life brings you back to center? Who makes you feel safe to be yourself, yet encourages you to grow? Who reminds you of the goodness still alive in the world, even when everything feels heavy? These are the people worth walking beside. And just as important, can you also be that person for someone else? Being part of a mindful community isn't just about receiving support, it's also about offering it. Sometimes, by being a calm and kind presence for others, we find that same peace blooming within ourselves. In this shared space of stillness and sincerity, we create something larger than ourselves, collective energy that nurtures hope, wisdom, and resilience. So, as you move through uncertain days, seek out the ones who walk gently. Share your silence, your laughter, your truth. When we walk together in mindfulness, we don't just survive the storms, we learn to find beauty in the rain. Remember this: we are stronger and more peaceful when we walk as one. Let that truth guide you. The key lesson here is simple but deep. Don't isolate yourself when life gets hard. Lean into the strength of a conscious community and become someone who nurtures that strength in others. Because even though the world may shake, the ground beneath your feet becomes steadier when hearts come together in peace. And so, whether Nostradamus's prophecies are literal warnings or poetic reflections, one truth remains: the future is shaped not just by stars or predictions, but by the choices we make today. In the face of uncertainty, we can choose awareness over fear, compassion over reaction, and wisdom over chaos. If this video sparked reflection in you, if it opened your heart or made you pause to think more deeply, then we invite you to walk further with us on the journey of wisdom. Please like this video, share it with others who might be searching for clarity, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming explorations into truth, peace, and meaning. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and remember, even in uncertain times, your presence can be a light in the dark.